The Singapore summit is canceled, putting an end, for now at least, to planning for President Trump to meet with North Korea's Kim Jong in early June. Today, the president sent a letter to Kim announcing he's pulling out and referring to the massive and powerful nuclear capabilities of the United States. Foreign Affairs correspondent Nick Schifrin begins our coverage.
Hello, everybody.
President Trump once said his summit with Kim Jong-un could produce peace and safety for the world. Today, he said he had no choice but to cancel.
Based on the recent statement of North Korea, I have decided to terminate the planned summit. I believe that this is a tremendous setback for North Korea and indeed a setback for the world.
The path from confidence to cancellation included what a senior U.S. official described as Americans being stood up by the North Koreans at a planned logistical meeting in Singapore. U.S. hope became doubt in less than a month.
I think we're looking at the Libya model of 2003-2004.
On April 29th, National Security Advisor John Bolton invoked Libya and its former leader, Muammar Gaddafi, who in 2003 traded his nascent nuclear program for normalization, but in 2011 was overthrown and killed by U.S.-backed rebels. On May the 16th, North Korean First Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs Kim Kye-gwan called Bolton repugnant and said, if the U.S. is trying to force our unilateral nuclear abandonment, we will no longer be interested in such dialogue. On Tuesday, Vice President Mike Pence repeated the reference to Libya.
As the president made clear, this will only end like the Libyan model ended if Kim Jong-un doesn't make a deal.
Some people saw that as a threat.
Well, I think it's more of a fact.
Last night, Chief North Korean negotiator Choi Sun-hui called Pence's remarks ignorant and stupid and added, whether the U.S. will meet us at a meeting room or encounter us at nuclear-to-nuclear showdown is entirely dependent upon the decision and behavior of the United States. Just hours later, Trump cited those words to cancel the summit and immediately mentioned the U.S. military was prepared.
Our military, which is by far the most powerful anywhere in the world, that has been greatly enhanced recently, as you all know, is ready if necessary.
That's exactly the talk South Korean President Moon Jae-in's been trying to prevent. He met President Trump just 2 days ago, and today expressed surprise. I'm very perplexed, he told his cabinet, and it is very regrettable that the North Korean-U.S. summit will not be held. Trump walked away from the summit just hours after North Korea said it destroyed at least part of the Pyongyang nuclear test site. The U.S. says North Korea went back on its promise to invite experts, but journalists, including the Associated Press's Rafe Wober, were there.
The main official from the North Korean Nuclear Weapons Institute did try to emphasize that North Korea wants to demonstrate its will to denuclearize.
But the nature of that denuclearization remains in dispute. North Korea expresses interest in slow, step-by-step denuclearization and step-by-step American incentives. The U.S. would prefer all-in-one denuclearization. And senior U.S. officials say North Korean broken promises and a break in communication convinced them that gap could not be bridged. Here's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Senate Foreign Relations Chairman Bob Corker.
You can tell when something's coming together and people are getting back quickly and the logistics are all being worked out. It was your sense over the course of the last week or so that that was diminishing. Is that correct?
We got a lot of dial tones, Senator.
The intelligence community has long concluded Kim would not give up his nuclear weapons. But today, even after he canceled, President Trump repeated his faith in Kim's intentions.
They want to do what's right. I really believe Kim Jong-un wants to do what's right. So hopefully things will work out.
President Trump says he feels strongly about canceling, but is still open to talking. The ball, the U.S. says, is now in North Korea's court. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
For more now on why the president backed out of plans for the summit, I'm joined by our White House correspondent, Yamiche Alcindor. So, Yamiche, you've been working on this story all day long. What more have you learned about this, about why?
I've learned that the summit was canceled because White House officials believe that North Korea was engaged in a pattern of behavior that showed that it wasn't really serious about denuclearization. A senior White House official today said and told me and other reporters that there was, quote, radio silence when it came to North Korea. So American officials were trying to work out the logistics, the policy issues that they were going to cover. And at some point, they literally stopped getting called back from their North Korean counterparts and couldn't go forward. So this was canceled because they didn't think that they could be ready by June 12th.
So do you get the sense that this is off permanently, or that there's a chance that this could come back together again?
I've been talking to a lot of people, and that was my main question to them. Two people that I can at least quote on the record were Kellyanne Conway, who of course is the White House counselor, and Rudy Giuliani, who is the president's personal attorney. Both of them and several other people who can't be named all said that they thought that this was definitely going to happen. They thought that President Trump is very much interested in having this meeting happen. The problem is that they're not sure whether or not North Korea is going to really meet the conditions that they want. Rudy Giuliani told me particularly, I don't think it's necessary totally canceled. Kellyanne Conway made it a point to say that she thought that there was so much that had been gained in the last couple of weeks. We think about the fact that there were hostages released from North Korea, that North Korea and South Korean leaders had their own summit. So she thinks that because of all those things, that something could happen in the future.
Interesting that the president's attorney and the president's political counselor are talking about foreign policy.
Yeah.
Yamiche, what did you learn about what conditions or what the White House wants to have happen if anything's going to move forward?
That's the key here. I talked to people and asked them, okay, so what needs to happen if the summit was going to happen? What can happen in the future? They told me a couple things. They said that North Korea cannot engage in missile testing, nuclear testing, and they cannot publicly object to the U.S. and South Korea military exercises. So that's kind of something that's pretty clear. But the things that the White House has been more cagey to confirm are, they said that there's reporting out there, and at least one person confirmed this to me, that they want North Korea to start dismantling its nuclear warheads, its nuclear material, and interballistic missiles overseas, and move them out of North Korea within 6 months. Now, that was one person who told me that, but there were all these people at the White House that I was physically trying to chase down today, and none of them would confirm that. So it's still up in the air what North Korea has to do specifically for the United States to want to meet with them now.
Sounds like still a lot of discussions underway internally.
I think if North Korea at least starts picking up the phone, that they might be able to have a conversation.
Yamiche Alcindor, we thank you.